All right, my friends, this is video number 2 of my Get Minty series. I have, in the previous video, showed you how to actually install Linux Mint, and now I am going to show you how to set up the settings after your first time, turning it on. Once you do these settings, you'll never have to worry about Linux Mint for a long time. Shit will just work. Alrighty then, you'll be presented with this welcome screen. Go ahead and touch on Let's Go. I'm going to need you to put your big old finger right there on the launch button for System Snapshots. And boom, this is going to be your first interaction with Linux security. On Linux, it doesn't just give you a yes or a no. Anytime that you do a system change, it's going to require your password. Get used to it and be happy about it. So type in your password and press enter. All right, that's going to bring you to this screen. By the way, you can just click the finish button and you're done. But in this case, I'm going to have you click next because I'm going to explain what the hell a system snapshot is. So after you click next, it's going to pop up with the location of where you want to store your snapshots. Now look, system snapshots are not backups. What they do is they take snapshots of all of your software packages as they were installed right then and there, so that in case something goes wrong, you can roll back to a previous version of your working system. So this will take snapshots of things like Firefox, for example, but it is not going to back up your latest favorites profile that you saved in Firefox, because it's going to ignore your user files. Because remember, it's not a backup. It's just taking system snapshots of the program itself. So just click next. All right, so after you pick your location, it's going to ask for a schedule, and just leave this as is. Daily is good enough, and keeping 5 snapshots is just fine. All right, here's your next little bit of info. Do you see the stuff that I have inside of this red box right over here? You see how it says to not have any of those files for the user TX Technician, that's my username, or the user root, which is the actual system user itself. Because the way that Linux works is that you have root, which is like a super user above all other users, and then you have your sub users, such as me, TX Technician. All right, anyway, keep those excluded. You don't want to make system snapshots of your user home directories. You actually want to use a backup program to do that stuff. So go ahead and click next. All right, that's it. Go ahead and click on finish. And then once it pops to this screen, just click on create to create your first system snapshot. It's going to take a minute because it's going to estimate your size and it's going to go through the motions. After you're done with that, we'll go back to the next step. Head back over to the welcome menu and touch on driver manager. Okay, so it's going to look for any proprietary drivers that you might need. So if you're running NVIDIA graphics, you will have to use the proprietary drivers. Just grab them and let them be installed and you'll be good to go. If you're running Intel or AMD, you're fine. You don't need it. That stuff's already open source and it's built into the Linux kernel, baby. Like this one. Go back to the welcome menu and click on Update Manager. Click on OK. Now, the first time you do this, whenever you open up the Update Manager, it's going to ask you if you want to switch to a local mirror. What that means is that, the way that these computer systems get updates is they reach out to a server, and then they say, hey, server, let me have all that info that I'm going to need. So if you are in the USA and you have broadband connection, you can just click on no and you don't have to worry about it. But if you have a really slow internet connection, you're going to want to click on yes, and you're going to want to wait for that list to populate and then click a local mayor. In most cases, just click on no and you'll be just fine. All right, whenever you open up the Update Manager, it will have already checked to see if there are any updates, and you're going to want to go ahead and apply those, because the next step that we're going to do is setting these things up to be automatic. So go ahead and type in your password, because it's totally asked you for that again. All right, and it's going to go through this case. Now, this may be different for you depending on what time you got your Linux Mint ISO downloaded, because some of them already have the latest updates applied to them. So this step might not have applied to you, but the next step is going to. So those packages, it just got updated to the newest version of Mint, and it checked again to see if there's any new software updates, and lo and behold, bam, there is. So go ahead and click on install all the updates and type in your password. Okay, once all of those updates are done, you are going to want to restart your computer. So click on the Linux Mint logo down in your task pane, and then click on the red power button, and then you're going to be prompted with another set of options that's going to say restart or shut down, and then there's like 2 other options. Just click on the restart. All right, the welcome menu should have popped back up. By the way, if you don't want that thing to pop up anymore, that little checkbox right down there, that's what you click in order to get that to go away. But in this case, we wanted it, so we're going to go back to first steps and then go to the update manager again. And in the update manager, you are going to touch on edit and then preferences. Click on the automation tab at the top. Turn on all of these toggle switches. This is going to set it up to automatically update for you, so you don't have to worry about it again. Okay, and the first toggle that you click on is going to ask you for your password. After that, it'll remember your password for a little bit. So just go ahead and click on all those. Okay, so now you're all set up for automatic updates and you don't have to worry about it again. Fantastic, yay. All right, anyway, go back to the welcome screen and I want you to touch on Software Manager. All right, and this is how you install software on Linux, and it's one of the reasons why Linux is considered to be secure, is because unlike on Windows, where you go to like some skeevy website to download stuff, or you click on the manufacturer's website to download things, on Linux, everything is inside of the software app store, the same way that it is on like your iPhone or on your Android Play Store. So yeah, yay. Okay, so after the software repository has loaded, you'll see all of this cool stuff that you can go through and install. It's all free. Okay, there are 2 different types of packages. There are system packages and flat packs. Do you see this down here, OSB Studio, how it says Flat Hub on there? Go ahead and search for that and click on it. I'm going to show you something. All right, so the way that software works is that it requires other software in order to be able to run. So OBS Studio, for example, it requires a whole bunch of back-end stuff like FFmpeg and a bunch of other things. So it needs that software to already be installed on your computer in order for it to run. Now, with Flatpaks, you don't have to worry about that. What Flatpaks do is they create this containerized version of that application where all of its dependencies are downloaded at the same time and they're all stored in a secure container, and you never have to worry about compatibility issues between a Flatpak software and your system software. Okay, take a look down here, and the size of this thing is 1.3 gigabytes of space for OBS Studio Flatpak version. The other way to install software is using the system package. Okay, this actually reaches out to Linux Mint's software repository and it says, hey, I want this piece of software. You can change between them by clicking on that drop down up at the top underneath of the install button. And let's go ahead and take a look down here. Look at the size, 45 megabytes. But whenever you install OBS Studio as a system package, you'll see a prompt that will come up and say, hey, you're going to install this. Are you also comfortable with installing this huge list of other software? And you can just click yes and it'll be able to go through. Now I want you to take a look at something else. You see that version number right there? Linux Mint software system packages are always going to be versions behind the Flatpak software version. The reason why is because all of this software that is inside of the Linux Mint distribution software repository has to pass through Linux Mint's inspection before they will allow it to be on their system. Whereas with Flatpaks, it's just uploaded to FlatHub by the creator. Okay, so in this case, it's OBS Studio. Now, a word of warning, Flatpaks can also be unauthorized. Like somebody could upload something to FlatHub and just say, hey, go through and use this piece of software that's on FlatHub, but they won't have a little blue check mark and verified symbol, so it'll be like, oh, well, they're not verified. That means that that's somebody else uploaded it, and it's likely not the package maintainer themselves. So like Synology, for example, you can get a Synology drive from FlatHub, but it's not maintained by Synology, okay? You would want to actually go to Synology's website and download their .deb package in order to use their stuff. Anyway, that's the difference between software packages. Man, look forward to this. Ask me some questions if you have anything. And again, I do this for a living. If you would rather me go through and set this up, reach out to me, description below, check everything out. Bye. Oh, and in the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up Microsoft 365 services and printing and a couple of other things too. So that's going to be at a later date though. The day got away from me. I forgot to talk about the firewall. All right, so anyway, you don't necessarily need to turn on the firewall if you are just like in your home and you don't have anything connecting from the outside world and you're never going to remove your computer from your desktop. However, if you are going to remove your computer from your desktop, for God's sakes, turn on your freaking firewall, people. It's real simple. Once you have it turned on, the default connection is set up to where it will block any incoming connections but allow all outgoing connections. So like you'll still be able to print and you'll still be able to deal with a bunch of other stuff. But for your scanning, like if you're going to be scanning to your computer, you will have to put a firewall rule inside of there that explicitly allows SMB connections or allows FTP connections. And actually on Linux Mint, whenever you enable sharing, it automatically changes those firewall rules for you. So it's nice.